Here we are back with Defenders of Light. In the previous episode, we went to Grassland and Homeland and saw a bit of Xion Prime. Right now we're in Lavaland, and this will only happen once in the game. Currently have 64 lights, like Nintendo 64, like Donkey Kong 64, the game on which this is loosely based. And ability to explains that Keisha, show me 80 lights. I can teach you Super Pounce ability. Right now we don't have Keisha. But we can go ahead and save her now. Back in Homeland, Keisha is still waiting for us. We learned previously Mini-Might ability, which will allow us to save Keisha now. I am stuck in this small space, come get me out. So that's a hint. Because when we learned the ability for Mini-Might, we were told that we would be able to get into small spaces. So now we can go down there and there's an ability symbol, and that'll allow us to turn into the Mini-Might. So I chose to have a boss here to force the player to be Alice before going into this battle. So right now you have Mini-Might ability and USS Bodhi. So once you enter this boss area, you actually change into the boat, even though it doesn't say so. Octoboss. So now we're in the boat form, USS Bodhi ability, and I set it up that the events that act as Octoboss's eyes follow the player around as I circle. So that was pretty easy, just telling the event to follow the main character, and the lava that acts as the white part of the eye there is actually something that you can walk on. So the event is basically just moving over the lava, but it can't move over these white spaces because the white is actually something that you would use as an unwalkable tile, something that you can't walk on. So that event can't get past that little box that it's in right now. So Octobus is supposed to be kind of pseudo 3D. If I could have made it so that you could go underneath him and somehow look from the back, this would actually be on his back. But since it's from an above angle, it looks like it's on the top of its head. So maybe it's on the top of his head, who knows. I suppose his face could be just flat on the water's surface, and then it's on its back, so to speak. So there's an example of death. Those blue bridges that are semi-see-through are supposed to be kind of like the tentacles for Octoboss. So if you step on it, he throws you in his mouth. And before, Octoboss, like all the other bosses, didn't have a name. So I gave him the name Octoboss that pops up. So if I had enough memory, I would only show the name once so that the player knows who he is, and then after that point, if you lose, it doesn't show it again. But I didn't really have the memory to set that up, so it's kind of like a reminder and slash punishment, unfortunately, to the player to have to keep saying the name of the boss every time they fail on a boss. So there I escaped it somehow. The idea of each boss is to figure out how to beat them. So in this case you're supposed to attack the spotted eggs before you can attack his mouth. So once again, this is could end up being trial and error for someone who wouldn't necessarily know what they're doing. But if someone's maybe more experienced with this kind of game, they would probably figure it out, hopefully. That's the idea, at least. So what that was there is supposed to be like a skeleton after you blow him up. All that's left is the skeleton of his squid, and it falls apart, and then the eyes are the last thing to fall into the water. And before, it was supposed to look kind of squid-like, and that's supposed to look like bones. And you get 15 lights and Kiss of Death magic. So once I get a few more magics, I'll go ahead and turn the battles back on. And as I explained in the videos for the monsters in Anime Maker, I didn't draw any monsters in Anime Maker, and I didn't use the battle system. I ended up making my own battle system, and we saw a bit of that, and we'll see a bit more of it again. Basically, I wanted to just build up the magic for the characters so that I could use it in the battles. To give an example of the magics that each character can learn if you still have the battles on. What is this feeling I have now? Another defender is free. Oh well, I need not concern myself. Free! Yes, I am free at last. Call on me in the character select menu whenever you need my help. So Mortat reacts every time I do something significant, like save a Defender of Light or defeat certain bosses. And just as before, Keisha faces the camera before she goes and shoots off to wherever the characters wait in the character select menu, wherever that's supposed to be, some sort of alternate dimension, I suppose. I can go ahead and collect the lights here, but I'll have to end up coming back to access this at some point in time in the game. So now that I have enough lights and I've saved Keisha, I can go ahead back to Lavaland. So unfortunately in this way, Defenders of Light is a bit linear. And here's Poncho again telling me that, could you pounce over here and help me get off this island, please? I didn't want the player to be able to access every level right away. And also I wanted to kind of force the player to get each Defender of Light in a certain order, there's no way to get them out of order. The first couple stages, that means that it's pretty linear. But once you have all the 5 Defenders of Light, that opens things up a bit more. Because then you can get the ability for each one and access different parts of each level and different parts of Xi'an Prime. Now that I have Mini-Might ability, I can go through here. So right now, this has nothing there. And if I were to change to Keisha, it's still going to be nothing right now. So go ahead and learn the ability. 80 Lights, Super Pounce ability. Super Pounce, jump over large gaps. Going with the hint where Pancho said to pounce over there and to save him, now we know that we have this ability called Super Pounce. And Keisha, of course, is a girl. So Ability Dude says, there is nothing more I can teach you, Dudette. Peace out. Now, every place that looks like this with boxes in front of it will be a place where Keisha can use the Super Pounce ability. Allows me to jump back and forth over large gaps like that. Now I'm not controlling where I jump, the jump is automatic. And I can only do it at the places where she can use the Super Pounce ability. But no other character can achieve this jump. So you have to be Keisha in order to do it. Also, on the lower right hand corner you can kind of see there's a golden chest, and there's a gold chest on every level, and we can't do anything with them right now, so I won't spoil what that's all about, but eventually those will become something that's important later on. So we'll go ahead and see which boss we have here, and this is another example of where the player is forced to be Keisha in order to face this boss. Lavaland Man. Now before he didn't have a name, but I figured since he's made of Lavaland men, I figured he was made of those guys, he would be called Lavaland Man. And if this was in 3D, this would all be moving simultaneously. But unfortunately it's RPG Maker, so I could only move the sprites one at a time. Each one of those groups of guys that is walking is one separate event. So right now there's 6 events on the screen, and 5 of those events have been duplicated. The objective for me on this point is to destroy all of these fire guys before I destroy the centerpiece. If you didn't really know that going into it, if I were to go and try to destroy that centerpiece, I would lose right now. But I'm not going to do that. And as you can see, since these guys are duplicate events, when I destroy one of them, several of them go away. So I suppose I could have made them all separate events. Considering the memory limitations that I was working with, this was the best solution that I could come up with. So the idea is that you're supposed to figure out how every boss is supposed to be destroyed. So now that we've destroyed all of them, it changes color, give an indication to the player that you can now destroy it, and I go ahead and destroy it, and it's destroyed. And I get 15 lights and learn kitty gas magic. Now if I really wanted to, I could leave and not save Poncho, but there wouldn't be much point. He wouldn't have another message because he still lets you know that you have to pounce over there. I sense a disturbance in Lavaland. Now this defender is free too? Something must be done. Thank you very much, my friend. Call on me in the character select menu whenever you need my help. I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, but that little chime that happens whenever one of the Defenders of Light mentions the character select menu is something that I added for the updated version, just to give it a bit more flair for when each character is talking about a certain thing. So every time they say call on me in the character select menu, that chime goes off, just the same as the same sound effect goes off for when they're warping away and things like that. Try to keep things consistent. So right now all of the chests will say that they're locked, but assuming the player didn't know about the gold chests and didn't know to check them, later on when you go to ability dude, he talks about the ability that you need, so you can kind of get an indication from there, from the name of the ability itself and from ability dude's description, that you're gonna have to go and access the gold chests. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and go back to Grassland right now. Grassland Warp Zone is kind of the main place to go, but now I have access to other places to warp. This is a place where an ability can be used, but I won't be able to use that till later. This is an entrance to Forestland, which costs 125 lights to open the door. Right now I don't have enough to go in there yet. And down this hole is another level. It's the entrance to Rockland, and that requires 250 lights to open. But I go down here just to activate the warp statue, so that way I can warp there quickly from this point on, and I don't have to walk there anymore. So this is where we'll be going into this candy house with what's supposed to be smoke coming out of the chimney up there. And yes, that's supposed to be a chimney. So when we go into the candy house here, we see the fireplace there, and that's where the chimney is supposed to be going out. Go ahead and activate the warp point and open the door, which required 100 lights. But we have more than that now. Which will bring us to Strangeland. This level is supposed to live up to its name and be very strange. Jewels. I am in need of some assistance. There was a rope here, but now there's not. Can you help me? So Jules is talking about a rope, but right now we can't do much with that information because we don't have the ability that we need. But Strangeland was basically an excuse to use every single background object possible from RPG Maker. So that plate set, the cactus, the well, the eggshell there, the shield, the turkey leg, all of that stuff in the background are tile sets that are available in RPG Maker. So I wanted to have a level where every single possible one is used. So that was the purpose of Strangeland, was that when you go in here you get to see all of the different kind of graphics that are available. And some of them become more relevant than others later. But right now we're going to go ahead and change to Alice. Also, this level isn't really supposed to make much sense. Like, why is there water right in the middle of nowhere? In the middle of bubble space? And once I've gotten these light here, there's no reason for me to come back to this spot anymore. So it's actually the only time I'll need to go there. And see, it uses the same indication or the same style as before with rock going around the water. Right now we actually need to be Keisha. If we go up here, we're going to end up coming back here. But right now we can't get across. We'll go ahead and fix that right now. So just like before, we won't be able to save Jules right away, but we will come back to save them later. Right now we just have a few things that we need to get from this level, such as the light that's available, and learn the ability from Ability Dude. Leo, show me 120 lights. I can teach you Builder Bob ability. So I have 127 lights, and I want to learn Builder Bob ability. But first, I'm going to go down here and change to Alice again. Because if we look over here, there's actually a small space to get into. So back here is another glowing red hawk thing and a blue block. Go ahead and get rid of the blue block right now. Which leads us to a gold chest, which is locked. I'm gonna go back to Ability Dude now. $120 lights, Builder Bob ability. Builder Bob, build bridges. Now that we have that ability, can head back to the other side of the level. Now we can use the ability here. Now that we have Builder Bob, we can build bridges. Which allows us access to this area here. At this point we've done everything that we can do in Strangeland. Go ahead and exit Strangeland. But eventually we're going to have to come back and figure out a way to get a rope to save jewels. See you again next time.